is already playing up, so that gives us our first half an hour free. Yay! So probably something I should have checked. Don't freak out in the chat. So welcome to another Fiberific live chat to answer a question that I saw pop up in the chat. Yes, I do have my licorice legs. I think it's going to be the only thing that gets me through the chat. Those of you wondering what licorice legs is, it's a kind of tea from T2, and it coats your vocal cords and makes it so that the raspiness that I've been feeling for the last, I don't even want to think about how long, is bearable. It's not gone, but it's bearable. So welcome to today's Fiberific live craft and chat. Now, I want to say a huge thank you to those of you that sent me messages last week when I was too sick to have a live chat. I was kind of okay, but my voice was shot. It was gone. And it was because of the bushfires that we've got in this area. We've got a lot of smoke in the air. Now, I'm perfectly safe where I am. I'm like inner suburbs. Like, I mean, I know I say perfectly safe. I've probably jinxed myself now, but I'm not out in the edge of the bush or anything like that, but I am close to that, and there's a lot of local little spot fires and also a lot of smoke's just coming in. So that's really affecting my asthma, and my breathing is not good. It's probably a good thing that I don't have my lapel mic on, because you could hear me every time I breathe in, and it's not sounding good, let me tell you that. So I want to say a huge thank you to those of you that sent me well wishes messages last week. It actually meant a lot. I felt really low. Like, this is the high point of my week, getting to chat with you guys, and so when I don't get to do it, I sort of feel a bit flat from there on. I mean, I was already feeling pretty ordinary because I was sick, but add into the compound that with not getting to hang out with you guys, and it was just like double downer. So let me have a quick look in the chat here. Everyone's just saying good morning. Good morning to Stacy, Christine, Lindsay. We've got Spanner Chick with as a mod today. I could have sworn I spotted someone else earlier. Sally. Sally's floating around as well. But yeah, so the smoke around here is not fantastic. I'm just going to go with that. And I'm feeling a lot better today than I was a couple of days ago. Yesterday I was feeling a bit better as well. One thing I do need to say, a little bit of a housekeeping thing, is those of you that are waiting for your mystery lace clubs, because of the smoke, I'm having to dry the yarn inside, and it's just taking a bit longer. So I checked it this morning, and it's pretty well dry this morning, but as of yesterday it was not dry. So I'll hopefully get a chance to have a look at it, but I've got a dentist appointment this afternoon, which I'm so looking forward to. Am I the only one who hates going to the dentist? Like, I've only got like a little, how do I put it? Like, it's a checkup. It's just a regular checkup, but I've got like a little niggly thing, like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, is it going to be like earth-shattering, world-ending, or is it just going to be like, oh yeah, whatevs, you know, you're a sook. Alison says there's bad smoke in Sydney today that's affecting her. Glad you are feeling better. Yeah, like, I've been watching the news on Sydney, and Sydney is up to Beijing levels of smog. We had that like last week, so you guys have got that this week. I'm really feeling for those people that are just like in it. Like, I'm having to deal with the smoke, right? And dealing with the smoke is bad enough, but I don't have to deal with the flames. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have to deal with the devastation personally, and it is terrible. So I don't mean to diminish anything by talking about how the smoke's affecting me, because I know there's a lot of people who are just so much worse off, but all we can do is just keep donating to the charities that are out there to help those people that are being affected. And a big thing I've noticed, like, I'm just going to jump straight up onto my soapbox here. Apparently police have not so much arrested, but had talkings to and arrested some, up to 100 children, because some of these fires are being deliberately lit. And I just think, what are the parents teaching these kids that it's okay to go and set fire to stuff? Now, that's not to say that there aren't parents out there who are like A1 parents, but their kids are just little monsters. Like, that totally happens. But, like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that, but it does blow my mind that in this time of like so dry, like, we're under water restrictions, and yet someone thinks it's okay to start the fire. Anyway, so lots of smoke. Oh, we've got dentist talk. Yes, whatevs, sook. Darwin says she gets nervous when she has to take the kids. Sally has a fear of going to the dentist. Like, can you imagine deciding to become a dentist and just knowing that everybody hates you? Like, it's not like if you're going to become a pediatrician where some parents will be really sad because you couldn't save their kids, but then other parents will be like over the moon excited because you were awesome with their kids. Like, a dentist never gets that. They just get everyone, like, everyone's afraid of dentists. Everyone hates dentists. Everyone only goes to the dentist grudgingly, and it's kind of weird. Anyway, yeah, Christine says kids lighting fires. Yeah. I mean, that's not the case for all of them. Some of them are just happening because of the heat, but a lot of them are being deliberately lit. So Game Winners actually likes her dentist. See, I like my dentist, but I don't like what my dentist does. Like, I don't like the cleans and stuff. But anyway, we'll get off that topic, guys. One of the things that happens when I'm sick is I can't talk, right? And that's really hard for me because obviously you guys know I love to talk. And so that means I can't do this. There's other like things that I can't do. I do some video calls with some friends. I do video calls with some peers, and I couldn't do any of that. So what that means is I've got all this time. And a normal person, when they're sick, goes and lays down and has a sleep. And I try that, but my brain's just like, yeah, nah, you may not be able to talk, but other than that, you feel okay. So I made blinglets. And by made blinglets, I should clarify this. Kim glued a lot of blinglets for me because, you know, she does that for me because of the breathing problems I've been having, which is just amazing. But I get these big bags of stuff that Kim's done up, but they have to, there's another step. So this is just one of the baskets of blinglets that I've put together. So they're all updated on the website. I've made so many blinglets. Honestly, these are the mediums. And I also did larges, and I've got some smalls to do. So yeah, it's just insanity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down to an overhead camera. Now, I noticed something before when I was doing some testing, that my overhead camera looks fine with some things, but then when I bring in something yellow, oh, it just goes insane. So that'll be fun when I bring in my yellow knitting. So overhead camera. There we go. So blinglets, like so many colors, like to the point where I even got to make some mixed ones, which is not something I get to do very often. So there's a few little mixed packets there, and I've got some topaz ones, which are really popular, but they're not, wow, they look really yellow. They're actually gold. Whoops. And like, you know, tangerine, which is another color that's sort of relatively new. There was another one that we hadn't really seen much of. Hang on a second. Powder blue. I love powder blue. It's such a gorgeous mix, and I really just love it. Anyway, I actually love them all, which is kind of why I make these colors, because I'm totally self-serving. Spanish Chick says obsidian. Let me have a look. Did I do any obsidian? There we go. Try and make them look pretty in the bag before I flip it over. No, not going to happen, but there we go. There's some obsidian. So it's like like the abalone over a really dark bead on a nearly black band. I find that the obsidians are really good for a lot of my knitting because I don't knit in blacks or dark colors, so they really stand out. And that's the thing with the stitch marker, is you want it to stand out. So while it's cute to have your stitch markers match your project, I think it's better to have your stitch markers contrast your project. So because the point of them is you want to be able to see where, like, it's supposed to be a visual aid of moving on to your next step or the next repeat or changing what you're doing in your knitting. I'm just having a quick squeeze. There's also some peacocks here, which I just love. Peacocks, this beautiful sort of purple or bluey, inky blue ring with these crystal abalone things. So yeah, I really love them. But anyway, there's heaps of these. They're up on the website. Go and snag them for yourself. The advantage is these can go in $3 posts, so you don't have to put them in the $8 post packages or the $8.50 now post packs. They can go into the $3 untracked if you want to do that. Perfect gifts for our knitting friends and family for Christmas. Great little stocking filler. Leanne Behrens forgot it was Thursday. Well, you made it. You got here, Leanne. Now, I wanted to say welcome to a lot of the new subscribers and welcome to a lot of the new people that are popping in. I probably should have said this right at the start of the video, but here at Fiberific, we talk about all things fiber and yarn. So some channels focus on crochet, some focus on knitting. We actually do a bit of both, and we also spin and dye as well. So in the live chats, from week to week, I try to change it up. So we have crochet weeks and dyeing weeks and knitting weeks, and every now and again I'll toss in spinning, but it's not that often. It does happen. I need some more, Stacey needs some more blinglets. Stocking stuffers. Hello, Leanne. Game Widow says it must be the season for stitch marker making. I've been going non-stop. Yeah, they're really, really good. Christine Chris says, do you weave? Yes, I weave personally. I have never done it on camera, and I'm a beginner weaver. I wouldn't feel comfortable teaching weaving because I've only made a few things myself. I'm very happy with what I made. I had nice neat edges and it did the patterning that I wanted it to do, but I'm a beginner weaver. I understand what people need when they're weaving, but I wouldn't feel comfortable teaching it. Although one day we should probably just do it just for fun because it's yarn and it's fun. Rebecca says, we also try to solve the world's problems. Yes, we do, Rebecca. We absolutely try to solve the world's problems, especially if they involve things like spiders. Wow, this like color is so wrong on this camera. I'm just gonna like bear with me, guys, while I try and have a little, I don't know if it'll let me fix it. There's a, oh, there we go. That's better. That's better. My hands don't look quite so weird. Anyway, let's bring the chat back up. Hey, Chintamani, welcome to the chat. I have no patience for weaving. You need to spend far too much time setting it up. I think it depends on what you're weaving. And yes, it does take time. You have to plan your weaving to make sure you've got enough yarn, because if you don't have enough yarn, you can't actually set up your warps. And if you run out of yarn on a weft, that's fine, which is the sideways bit. So warps are the long bits, wefts are the sideways bits. That's our technical terms, long bits and sideways bits. But so you have to plan it out, and you need to sort of double check you've got everything you need at the start. But the thing I've found with weaving is once you've got it set up, I can weave a 6-foot scarf in 2 days. And that's with me not being able to sit for long amounts of times where I have to get up and move around and do all this stuff. And so like I can't make a beautiful I can't knit a 6-foot scarf in 2 days, and I could probably crochet one, but the thing is the texture of the fabric that you get is like a million times different. So it's like the time to set it up versus the time to make it. Anyway, Christine says, that's cool, I'm a beginner too, I love knowing who else weaves. Hashtag all the fiber arts. See, I agree with you. All the fiber arts. We all love yarn. We all love fiber. We all love creating things. That's it. Wondering if there's a winner picked for the replay from the other week. Sally, there hasn't been. No, you're quite right. I will need to check that now. There's something I want to talk to you about. You guys, because I've been sick, I've dropped the ball a little bit. So over the next couple of days, those that have won will be getting their codes. I've forgotten to send out the codes straight away, and I'm very sorry. I'll be picking the winner from the other week. Unfortunately, I wasn't organised enough today to have a prize for today. So I'm really sorry about that. I had meant to do a raffle, or not raffle, but you know, a free pattern giveaway every week until the lead up to Christmas. But as of last night, I was still tossing up whether I would be able to do this live stream. And so I just didn't get organised. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I will get it all sorted, and all those prize winners will be getting their prize codes very soon, okay? Chintami says, I really admire anyone who has the patience and the room. I also have no room in my room for even the smallest loom. Yes, weaving does take up space. The actual loom itself can fit on the edge of a table, on the edge of a small table, but when you are warping up a rigid heddle loom, you need lots of space, like lots of space. Whereas if you're warping up a what do you call those? Not rigid heddles. 4-shaft or 8-shaft looms, it's a bit different. My brain just totally went, it gave up. The basic knitter do knit the 14th season Doctor Who scarf for my nephew. Men never again. I agree with you. Those Doctor Who scarves are you must really love them project. Floor looms. Yes, floor looms are another one. I have a friend who has a beautiful floor loom. Takes up an entire bedroom, just the loom. She's got just enough room for a little chair in front of the loom. The loom is enormous. Just to actually disassemble it to bring it in and out of the room. So Game Widow says, have a look at inkle looms that take up less space. I love inkle looms. I really need to learn on an inkle loom. I need a guitar strap, and I want to make bag straps that are nice and strong to go on my knitting and crochet bags. Inkle loom would totally be the way to go. I have the Doctor Who scarf on my list for next year for my brother-in-law. Oh my gosh. That's insanity. That's insanity. Like, I don't know if I love anybody enough to make them a Doctor Who scarf. like if you end up with a Doctor Who scarf from me, you know the feels are real, okay? And also it's Queensland here. My husband, what have I made for him? I've made him a beanie. That's it, a beanie. I think, and half a jumper. That the other half's in the craft room somewhere. I actually wrapped it up and gave him the back because the rest of it wasn't done. But yeah, that's it. Because it's too hot here for woolly stuff. Like, I love lace weight and 4-ply, and I make myself a lot of projects using lace weight and 4-ply, but my husband's not into that. He's a man and he doesn't want to wear lace. So yeah. You could do a strap on your rigid heddle. I could do a strap on my rigid heddle. I definitely could. But inkle looms are fun. Like, why would I not want to play with an inkle loom? All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, like total, like not segue, just like jumping in, is the Fibrific limited yarns. So, I posted a picture yesterday, I think, of a little mitered square that I'm working on because I've decided to start yet another project. This is the yarn that I used in my little mitered square that people were seeing, and I was being asked a lot of questions about it. Excuse me, the thing to remember is this was a Fibrific limited yarn. These 3 skeins is all there is. I've got like a partial skein that I used for the testing for mine. But these 3 skeins are all there are of it. So if you want the yarn, you've got to jump in quick. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And while I can, especially with this one in particular, I'm very tempted to try and replicate it because I'm loving on it so hard. It will never be the same. So because I did it in a fashion, like it was done during a live stream, and the atmosphere is different, and I don't take notes. I do have the colors that I mixed. I do have the recipes. Andrea and I wrote down a lot of those, but we didn't write down all of them. And so the limited colorways are not intended to be repeatable. And that's kind of the point. There's this special for the live stream and then the limited color afterwards. So if you want to get these, there's only 3 left. So, and it's looking so adorable. I'm just about to blow out all the color because I've got my yellow thing again. Actually, oh yeah, it did. It destroyed everything. That is like such a soft yellow. That's daffodil. No, dandelion. That's dandelion. And it's just like yellow. It's not that yellow. Like, hang on. Oh, see, that doesn't help either. But anyway, so this is the mitered square, and I'm working on my 3rd square now, which actually joins these ones together like this. But doesn't it just knit up just so gorgeously, like just little pops of color? I'm loving it so hard. This pattern that I'm doing is called, let me find the front page of it, 4 Corners Baby Blanket. Now, I of course, don't do things how the designers intended. So for them, the whole blanket's 4 squares, right? So bam, bam, bam. But I've just done, I'm not sure if you can see, but I've just done this little section of a square. So I haven't completed a whole whoosie what's on it because I didn't want to. So I've only done 60 stitches instead of 150. I'm using 4-ply instead of worsted weight. So I'm like shrinking it right down, because what I want to do is, see this square here, I want to make little 4 squares with a little border on them and then join them all together into a big blanket. And I eventually want to have a little square of just about every color that I've dyed and make it a little sampler, because I've got a crochet sampler behind me. So it's not so much a sampler, it's my my brain Charlotte's Dream blanket, and it uses up like 13 or 14 colors. Yeah, I just love it a lot. I didn't bring out the ball, so I haven't crocheted anything with it yet, Leanne, but I will be. So I have not forgotten about my goal to crochet myself a bag. I actually sat down while I was sick as well and recrocheted the square we did on camera just to write notes to double check. So I've got the pattern for that written out. I've just got to type it up and make it pretty for the first square, and I've started working on to the next squares as well, so that we can get those a similar size. So that's coming as well. So I'll be doing the bag in all the same colors as I'm doing this blanket. The bag, I think I worked out, because I've got a calico shoulder strap bag. What are they called? I don't know. A calico shoulder strap bag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch the crochet bag and actually sew it onto that, so it's like covering the other bag, so I'm not going to have to worry about the contents of the bag falling through the stitches or pulling them or anything like that. So I'm definitely going to be crocheting all these colors. So I've got so many little bits and bobs of all my colors here that I'll be using them for both projects. So we'll get there. We'll have crochet samples and knit samples of everything. So I do have more of this, of my little skein. So I've definitely got enough for my crochet bag. So I'll get that crocheted up for people to have a look at too. But because it's the problem, so the difference between crocheting yarn and knitting yarn is, with knitting, we've got one stitch in green, one stitch in pink, and what have you. But when you crochet it, what may happen, which I don't think it will happen with this, because there is a bit of space between all the colors and there's a lot of white around it with just little hewed up sections of color as well. Sometimes what happens, especially with short color repeats, is you'll do a crochet treble and it will use up all the color, and so you'll have like white boringness forever and then just this one stitch of crochet instead of it being spread out like it does in knit. I don't think that'll happen in this instance, just because of how this is being dyed, and it's so very random, and it was very random when we were dyeing it. But I think it will still crochet up into a beautiful little speckle. But I'll do something and I'll post a photo of it and you can have a look. Lindsay says, another thing on my list, which is massive, is the Hue Shift Afghan in mitered squares. Are they quick? I am loving these. I'm finding these to be very fast, but in saying that, they're only 60 stitches per square. I did have a little, it's been a very long time since I've had to pick up stitches. So I had a little bit of, I had to try twice to pick up the stitches in a way I was happy with. It's created a little bit of a seam on the back, which, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest, but I mean, I'm happy with how the front looks. So there's that. Like, they don't show any photos of the back. I'd love to see what the back of some of these blankets look like, so I can see if I'm doing the same thing and I'm not picking it up too far down the stitch. But because of where our blanket, like where my squares finish off, or start off, this is actually the cast on row, and they do a cast on row and then I think it's a purl row straight away. So I didn't want a purl ridge like with the little spots of color as my first line. I wanted it to be a full stitch, so I'm picking up past it. So yeah. Bye Gamer Widows. Sorry, you may have already left and I've missed it. Am I in live chat? Yes, I am live chat. Guys, don't forget to check that you're in live chat rather than top chat, because it makes a difference. There's comments that don't appear. Sally says it's going to look lovely. Thank you, Sally. I'm up to the pin dropped out. Okay, hang on. Okay, so I don't know if we've come back. Okay, we're going to try again. We're going to see if it's going to let us back in. I don't know if it will. Fingers are crossed, guys. Fingers are crossed. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I've got connection again, so we'll see how that goes. Are you guys all back? Switch to your phone internet. I may have to in a second. So, all right. So you guys can hear me and see me again. We're all good. We'll see. I don't know how long this connection is going to last for, but we'll keep it in mind. I'm good. Hey Lisa, welcome to the chat. All good here. Excellent. I'll have to check to see if YouTube is splitting it into multiple videos later. Stream part 3. Yeah. And if it does, I'll actually delete out the second one that went for like 4 seconds. So we'll kill that one. Are you back? I am. Okay, guys, so you may have to go in and hit like again. I'm not sure if it split. It probably has split the stream up. So just double check that you can hit that like button again and it'll get it back out to the world again that we're live again. Oh my gosh, what a drama. All because my internet went, it imploded. Now, where am I up to? Like, you guys know how we talk about how I like to scratch all over patterns. I'm going to give you an example. This is what I do to patterns. I like chicken scratch all over them. Like, it's terrible what I do to a pattern. So, now where am I up to? I've done row 5. I can tell because row 5 is a purl row. Leanne says my things are still blue. Sally says it didn't split. No new notifications. Okay. Maybe YouTube are getting it and understand. Also, we did come back up pretty quick. So, I just want to, once I work out where I'm up to, so that's 5, 6, 7. So, yes, I'm up to row 7. Okay. At least you aren't scribbling on your laptop screen. Well, I mean, there's that. Looks like my pattern's from Leonie. Oh, I'm so glad, Leonie. I am a destroyer. I prefer not to have my patterns on a computer screen. I do if I need to. Like if I'm traveling and I don't want to worry about losing pages, I do tend to have it on my phone or on my laptop. But if I am at home, I want that piece of paper and I want that pen. And I changed pen colors. As you can see, I went from black to blue because I was getting lost in where I was up to in the black markings. So, yeah. Now, I'm up to row 4. So, row 4 is knit to 2 stitches before the marker. I really like this particular mitered pattern. My problem is I'm not a huge fan of just garter. And a lot of mitered squares use just garter. And so that really kind of bugs me. And so I had to go hunting for a little while to find one that I was happy with that wasn't using garter. I'm right in the edge of my screen here. I'm going to see if I can wiggle over a little so I'm a bit more in the middle. Nick Spin Girl Creation says I print copies from books so I can scribble on them. Me too. Photocopy the pages out. Spanner says I'm really bad with getting into the groove and not marking off where I'm up to. Oh, I do that too. That's the advantage of learning to read where you're up to. I think it's a really important skill that a lot of beginners don't take the time to learn, is how to read your knitting and how to read your crochet. Because if something happens and all you know is what your project is called, you've got to know where you're up to. Now, I'm not 100% good at this because it was a skill I didn't realize I needed. And I've only been sort of getting better at it over the years. Better with crochet than I am knitting. And yeah, so I think it's a very important skill for people to have. Yeah, I did. I saw Facecam fix itself as well. It was very weird. Are you healthy enough for Caffeinated Crafters? Oh, I am so looking forward to Caffeinated Crafters tonight. Honestly, I am going. Like, I'm not infectious. It's just my asthma and my lungs playing up. So I may not be able to talk heaps, but I am definitely going. So, yeah. Hey, Daigo, welcome to the chat. So, yeah, so I'm definitely heading for Caffeinated Crafters tonight. So if you've got orders that you're waiting on, and you're coming to Caffeinated Crafters, let me know and I'll bring them with. Wench can't wait for tonight. Hey, Kathleen Champ, just popping in to say hey y'all. Hey, how are you? I really missed everybody last week, honestly. It was like, I don't know if you guys realize how big a call it is for me to actually pull the pin. Knitspin Girl says, when putting my knitting down, I know where I'm up to. Doomed to failure. Me too. Every time. I always end up having to work it out. And that's why I try and remember to mark my patterns. I do sometimes forget, especially with short rows. Like, my rows are getting shorter and shorter as I'm doing this particular project. And sometimes as I get towards the shorter rows, I forget to mark it. And then I'm like, so, oops, slip the blinglet. See, the blinglet was a nice contrasting color when I was doing it on the yellow, but now that I'm in the pink, it's a bit blendy-inny. I think with knitting, it makes it hard that the row you've done is on the needle and doesn't actually look like whatever it is until the next row. I agree with you, definitely. Yeah, it's always tricky. You've got to remember to count the row on your needle when you're counting stitches. Kathleen says, I'm doing varied today. Thank you. Praying for your breathing. I understand that issue. Trying to stay ahead of that. But, you know, I totally get it. Like, I think I scared Abby a little bit yesterday. We were nearly home from school run. And I had to pull over because I couldn't breathe and I needed Ventolin. And she was, like, freaking out, digging the Ventolin out of the console of the car. But I was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I think I did scare her, which is bad. I don't like to scare my baby. I mean, I love to scare her, but intentionally, not, you know what I mean. So yeah, so we've got Caffeinated Crafters is on tonight. Let me just mark where I'm off. There we go. Hang on. I know it sounds bizarre, but like here where it says repeat rows, I actually like to write in the row number I'm working on. And then 18, 19, and 20. Just so that I don't get lost, because I nearly forgot to do that 21 purl ridge one time. I will message what I would like to see tonight, if that's okay, Chantel, and if you have it in stock. Absolutely. That's something that's been happening at Caffeinated Crafters a little bit, is like a little bit of Fibrofix show and tell. It's like, so it's like, you know, bring this to show people and bring this to show people. And I love it. I think it's great, because stop that. Like, YouTube will time you out. Like, it won't be anybody else's fault but your own Spanichic. So yeah, so to you. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I am using that other microphone and I do have the air conditioning on, and my voice is getting, like, it feels like my voice is getting shorter. Does that make sense? Like, it's harder to project. So yeah. Oops, sorry. I'll put that back under the camera there. I mean, I moved over and then I moved everything out of the way so you can't see it. You guys can hear me okay? Oh, that's good. All right. Let's see if this makes a difference. Got my elbows on the table like a heathen. Got my elbows on the table like a heathen. I'm sure I'll probably get copyrighted for that. Would you be able to bring my goodies? Yes, I can bring your goodies. Absolutely. I can totally do that. Sorry, guys. So 4 before 4, 2, 4, so 3 more. 1, 2, 3. This particular pattern's a free pattern on Ravelry. It was published in 2009, so it is not new. Not new, but I'm loving it. Hang on, slip. I've got to concentrate while I do my slip knits, guy. It's one of those things that I can't do it and talk. I don't know why, but I can knit two together, no problems. What's the deal with that? I don't know. Coat those vocal cords. Thank you. YouTube will think it's the wrong kind of channel if you start like drink. I do have a thermos here, which I might actually top this up because it's getting a bit cool. So yeah. So what have you guys all been doing? Like, it's been 2 weeks, so I want to hear about what you guys have been up to while I've been like, you know, making blinglets and planning new easy projects because my brain couldn't deal with the projects I had. That's why I start new basic projects, guys, is because my brain just goes, yeah, nah, that's not happening. What do you mean you want to readjust a cable pattern so it fits into the number of stitches that you want? No. Do something else. Find something easier because you are not capable of that right now. So frustrating. Sorry, could you name the pattern again? Yes, it's the Four Corners Baby Blanket. Designer is, I'm going to destroy her name, okay? It's Rena Shake Lesko. I'm going to bring it here for a second. Can you read that? I grabbed it off Ravelry. I actually found it in a Google search, and then it actually took me back to Ravelry to download it. So I was just like, sweet as, bro. Rebecca says she's still spinning for her cardi. Oh, what have I done there? I did something. I took out the whole top, not just the... Oh, look, I don't even care. Look, I just want to top up my drink with hot beverage. So more licorice legs in here. More licorices. Spanichick has thrown up a link to the pattern. Thank you, Spanichick. I'll also toss a link into the description down below for later. Do you ever find your voice gets tight when you've had to take lots of Ventolin? Ah, yes, Christine. The other thing that happens to me when I take lots of Ventolin is I get the shakes. So if I have more than, well, even if I have 2 puffs without a spacer, I get the shakes actually. But like the last couple of weeks, I've been having to take sort of 4 to 8 puffs a day. And so I've just been like this shaky mess, which again makes it hard to do things. And makes it like no beading, no beading, nothing with beads or small. So doing the blinglets was fun, scooping them up with needle, like woo. So, but yeah, I managed, and I had no time frame, so that was the advantage, is I could just do it at the pace I wanted to do it at with no real issues. Darwin says, I've been a bit stressed, so I'm working on 3 crochet blankets, a knitting, a wrap, and a pair of socks. So you've been crafting hard, Daiwench. I dropped my big project for a while and I'm enjoying some smaller ones for a bit. Really enjoying start, finish, fast crocheting. Yeah, I get that for sure. Sometimes it's just nice, especially like, I mean, I know some of you are like freezing where you are, but we are melting here at the moment. And so having your yarn craft passion and also having to deal with 40-degree temperatures or even, you know, late 30s, whatever's, it's not nice. Definitely does not help when you've got like a massive project that you're working on. Which is another reason why I'm doing these in like little groups of 4 rather than doing them as a big project, if that makes sense. So I'm sort of thinking of it as like a knitted patchwork project. So I can work on little individual pieces, and then as I get a pile of pieces together, I'll stitch them together. So each little 4 section will become one piece. And Spotting Clouds is the name of the top. Oh, okay, cool. Ducted aircon on. Oh, I don't blame you. Today is dreadful. And that's the other thing I've noticed is having the air conditioning on is like a double-edged sword. It clears a lot of the smoke out, which makes it easier to breathe, but I don't cope well with being in the aircon all the time. So I'm like, oh, well, what's better, being in the air conditioning or not being in the air conditioning? So that's a bit of fun. Leanne says, yeah, I've been hard on the asthma meds for weeks too. Nasal sprays also. Ooh, yuck. Knitting a sleeveless top in Bendigo cotton instead of fingering. So you mean the 4-ply cotton? Sally says it doesn't help that I can't type properly either. Yeah, like seriously, I totally get that. Like my brain is not being my friend today. So if things crash and burn today, I may not be able to fix it up quickly because my brain will be like, oh, what are we doing again? So we're going to see how we go. We're going to like keep streaming either until 11:30 or until we fall down. So that's our choices. But yeah, so it's been so hot here that the walls have come down. I actually had to get in here with a ladder this morning and stick the wallpapers back up because the heat in this shed made them just droop right down. It was so funny. I sent Andrea a photo like, oh, it's so hot here, the paint's melting off. It's not paint. I wish it was, but it's not. Asthmatic life, yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? It's like, oh look, the air's too warm, the air's too moist, the air's too dry, oh no, the air's too hot, the air's too smoky. It's like I can't win at the moment. What is going on? I've got like a little snaggy bit. Schnaggles, come here. So I don't think I'm going to make it to the end with like this little scrap of pink that I had. So I've got this other bit. It's a slightly different dye lot, I think, but it should be close enough. Because I've got so many like little bits left over from things that I just like I didn't bring out the whole bag, did I? No, like so you guys saw the bag that I had for the crochet blanket. Well, I've got like bags that look like this floating all around the place that are just full of like bits of things that have been used for like the blanket and other projects where it's like it didn't use a full 25, so you know, but we're getting there. Yeah, no. Oh, okay, I just answered your question without reading it, so we're on the same wavelength. So here's a question. Do you have any inside poop on the Crochet Guild of Australia? Tomorrow is the laugh. I'm excited for what they mean. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I do know a little bit about the Crochet Guild of Australia that's starting up. I know they're having some technical problems, which is driving them up the wall. Oh, it was meant to say scoop, not poop. Okay. I know that they're doing a big like opening at the Logan Intercraft event. Is it Intercraft? I can't remember. You know, the little live craft shows that they have. Well, there's one happening at Logan at the end of the month, so they're having a massive day there, a massive 3 days there where people can sign up, take classes, meet some of the founding instructors. So yeah, so I mean, I have known that it was coming for a little while, purely because I'm friends with somebody who is on the founding committee. Craft Alive, thank you, Spanish Chick. So Logan Craft Alive, they're doing a big launch there, but they're also having their online launch tomorrow. So hopefully their website is all good to go by then. Tomorrow week. So yeah, so it's all happening, and they're getting it all ready. They're in the final throes, and they're contacting designers and contacting dyers and all sorts of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot, and it's like, so those of you that have Crochet Guild of America, it's basically going to be a sister guild out here in Australia. Similar things, running along similar lines. But with a bit more of an Australian twist on it. So we'll see how it goes. But definitely keep an eye on it for Crochet Guild of Australia. They have got a Facebook page, and they're slowly starting to populate that now. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And they are going to be having founding memberships available for those of us that jump in straight away. So that will be good too. So, oh, sorry, I'll put that back under here. Purl, purl, purl to the end, purl, purl. That's my purling song. So you guys now know I have a purling song. Let me just beep. And then repeat row 4. Yeah, I agree, Spanichick. I agree. I needed more beverage. I can't believe how much I'm needing to drink today to keep my throat going. Oh, so Spanichick's right. So craft show is 1 week away. Website launches tomorrow. Spanichick is talking about Baby Yoda. So, oh my God, how adorable is Baby Yoda? So, has anybody caught The Mandalorian on Disney Plus yet? Because I couldn't wait, and I've already signed up. So in Australia, Disney Plus only launched this week, whereas for other people, like in the US and Canada, and somewhere else, they got it last week. Hugs and blessings, y'all. Hope to see you next week. Have a great evening. Thank you, Kathleen. You too. Spanichick says I had a huge headache yesterday. I think I didn't drink enough. Yeah, and that's a catch, especially if you're in air conditioning. You need to remember that you have to like hydrate, because air conditioners remove moisture. And I had like a very visual reminder of that. I got given a bunch of yellow, like little mini roses at work one time and left them on my desk at work. And because our office ran 7 days a week, I came in on Monday to a little bunch of dried flowers. It was beautiful and it lasted forever, but one weekend completely drained the entire jar of water as well as dried out the flowers. Bye, Daigo. I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope you have a good time with your family. Sally says she's confused. Why are you confused, Sally? Spanichick says she didn't watch the show. She just scrolled through the progress bar until she found Baby Yoda. I watched the show. Sally says, I can't stream it on my TV. I don't want to watch it on my phone or computer. I'm fussy like that. Yeah, Sally, that's one thing I'll say about Disney Plus is we can't get the app on our TV because our TV models are dash old. Like that brand is working, and you can use it from the phone and Chromecast it to your television, but our lounge room television doesn't have a Chromecast attached to it, so we're actually watching it through our PlayStation. So like we've got a whole pile of, like, we realize we have way too much tech because it's not working through the Telstra TV box. And it's not working through the apps in my smart DVD player. And so, yeah, it doesn't work through any of that. So you've got to cast it to your television. Chintami says, saw Baby Yoda on Twitter. Very cute. Baby Yoda is very cute. Now I'm doing row 4. So row 4 is that one. Okay. Darwin says I can get it on our older TV, but not our new one. Oh, that is weird. So apparently they're using a particular software that will only work on TVs with a certain level of security. So maybe your old TV's got the better security than your new one. That's weird. Hang on. Knit 2 together, knit 2 together, and then knit to the end. Sorry, guys. Do you have a browser on your TV? Can you just watch it through the browser? Possibly. I didn't even think of that. I do have a browser on my TV. I'll have to check that out. I'm still adjusting to watching things through my PlayStation. I don't normally use my PlayStation like that. But then like I'm there checking it out and I'm like, hey, I could watch Netflix from here as well. That's so cool. So it's good to know that the options are there if something happened to the smartness of my TV. Of my poor old TV. Spanichick says security, that's ironic. Yeah, a whole pile have, like some of their US customers. Yeah, my Samsung Smart TV is an older model. My computer is getting old too. I think you'll be fine with your computer. I just don't think where are we? I'm purling the stitches, which was like pretty obvious really, right? So let me just get, I always struggle with my first stitch. Do you guys struggle with your first stitch, like getting it to get the right tension? I always do, and it doesn't matter what I'm making, I always struggle with the first stitch. Spanish Chick says neither of my TVs have internet access. Well, so yeah, I've got HDMI, so I can run it through my laptop straight into the television. No problems. I'm going to check the TV's browser and see if it can work it that way. That would be cool. I don't think there's a switch out. It's PlayStation 4 and an Xbox, I think, is the only two. There's a listing online. So if you Google what will Disney Plus play on in Australia, it'll give you a list of what it'll work on. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock for me. Like, I've downloaded it, like paid for it, and then I'm like, hang on a second, my usual way of doing things is not going to work. Chintama says first and last stitches are usually a bit, so therefore I have bad edges. Yes, me too. Me too. And I'm sure if I just knit more, it would work out. But I like knitting, and I do a lot of lace, and lace knitting doesn't seem to matter because you block those edges differently. But for some reason with like standard stuff like, you know, jumpers and little things like this, I always end up with a hinky edge. I don't think I have a cord. If I do, I have no idea where it is. I just picked up a new little HDMI cord from Big W because like I need like a big one for in the house, but I only need a little one for out here, like little, like a meter. So I managed to pick one up for like $10 or something from Big Dub. And then if I stream from my computer, then I can't use my computer for other stuff. Yes, you can. So you just have the tab open, and you can actually, so when you set your computer up, you set it up as a secondary monitor onto your television, and you can just click set settings, display settings, and then you can choose to extend your display, and that'll mean like your laptop is screen 1 and your television screen 2. You can open up like Disney on, you know, Chrome or whatever, drop that into the second display, it can be there, and then you can use your laptop for all your normal stuff. The only reason I know this is that's what I do in the office all the time. I have my laptop here set up, and I'm doing work and website updating and all that sort of stuff, and playing on my little monitor, well, my big monitor next to my laptop screen is normally like West Wing or Midsummer Murders or something's playing in the background just on the secondary screen, just so that I can have some noise. Like, I need noise around me through the day. Chromecast is great. I love Chromecast. But you do have to have a HDMI port on your TV for it to work. Abby only has one HDMI port, and she's got her DVD player in it at the moment. So that makes life hard for her. So no Chromecast for her. And the thing that we were noticing yesterday is Andrea came over yesterday to keep me company, and so did Kim. And we were having a little scroll through of what's available on Disney Plus. I'm like, I didn't know that was a Disney movie. I didn't know that was a Disney. And all these movies that are coming up that I didn't realize were Disney owned. I was just like, wow, there are so many movies, guys. So many movies. And they're not all kids movies either. So, Zebra Kitten, hello. Oh, it's 1 a.m. Oh my goodness. Just going to bed when I noticed you were live. I've been cross-stitching and lost track of time. Oh my gosh, I used to do that a lot. Because it's like, I don't know about for you, but it used to take me like an hour to cross-stitch an inch. So yeah, you get absorbed into what you're doing, and just time disappears when you cross-stitch, honestly. You can get HDMI splitters. I did not know that. I'm totally going to get Abby a HDMI splitter. Sally's not going to worry about it. Fair enough, Sally. Oops, hang on a second. I need 4 stitches and I've knit one, so I've just got to tink one back. Okay, so hang on, guys. I'm up to the slip knits and I can't talk during them, remember. I don't know why. I can talk during everything else, right? Yeah, they bought they did buy a bunch of studios. They do own a bunch of studios and a bunch of networks, and So yeah, I mean, it's just doesn't, you don't realize how much they own until you start seeing it listed out like that. And you're just like, wow, they are seriously monopolizing. Dye says I have one here somewhere. If I can find it, I'll bring it. Wow. I didn't even, I mean, of course USB splitters are a thing. Why wouldn't HDMI splitter be a thing? Abby is going to lose her mind. Why is Dye not a mob? I don't know if Dye wants to be a mod. I think that's the only reason. Like, that's it. I mean, I'll happily make Dye a mod. But, you know, I may see if I can get it on an old iPad and do the free trial before it's... That's a good idea, Sally. Make sure because I think the free trial is only a week. So make sure you sort of got time to watch a few things before you sign up for your trial. Just double checking I'm doing the right thing here. Yes. Because I don't want to have to... I hate pulling back stitches in little projects. It bugs me. And Spanish Chick says, I have a light for Abby. What? Seriously, you guys, like, does Abby message you and just go, hey, I need a thing? Because it's just like, oh man, she's not actually going to come tonight. We had a discussion about it today and I promised princess cake. So I have to get downstairs in time to hit the food court. I made her an admin without her even knowing. I'm sure you can make her a mod. Yeah, Dye doesn't watch this on a computer though. That's the thing. So modding from an iPad is tricky. Because Dye streams this to her TV. So that's all right. Sorry, I'm sucked into what I'm doing here. I'm really enjoying this project, you guys. And so I keep getting like zoned in. It's a bit like Zebra Kitten and her cross stitch, where it's just like you just get sucked into it and just keep going. Chantel Tech talks to me and I get so lost. I'm sorry, Dye Wench. It does take so long compared to crocheting. It's for a craft swap. It was my main jam before I learned to crochet and I don't do it very often. Feel a little rusty and very slow. I understand, Zebra Kitten. When I was pregnant with my daughter, who is now 14, I cross-stitched just about exclusively. And now I don't think I've actually cross-stitched much since she was born. I didn't like having... Well, not so much since she was born. I did it when she was like, when I was not sleeping, when she was a bit littler. But when she started maneuvering around, I didn't feel comfortable having my cross-stitch stuff out. So I would put it away. And then I would forget to pull it back out again to work on it. And then it got to the point where it's been in a drawer now for 14 years. So, yeah. No, oh, we were talking about the light before at IKEA and I had a spare from before the flood. Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. That's awesome. Okay, row 16 is a repeat of row 4, which is to 2 stitches before the marker. So yeah, so this, I mean, look at this, it's moving along so quickly, isn't it? What do you guys think? I'm gonna have to add in this new skein of yarn very soon. But yeah, it's picking up this yellow and making it so bright and it's changing all the colors of everything. I did not realize that would be a problem, honestly. Spanish Chick is reminding everybody to remember to thumbs up. So thank you, Spanish Chick, for reminding all our friends. All right. Oh, bugger. Pick it up. Don't drop it. Okay. So slip, slip, knit, do that, and then 2 knit 2 together. Bam, bam. Okay. Do you prefer to increase or decrease? I think I prefer to decrease, actually, rather than increase. I don't really know. I'd have to do some increasing stuff to work it out. I do enjoy decreasing. Better than like make one left, make one right nightmare. Oh, camera's off. Is it going to come back by itself? Nope, I had to press the button this time. There we go. We're on to row 17. Just pearl all the things. Such bright colors. Look, this is just our standard dandelion. It's not that bright. The colors are just really pop. The yellow in particular actually is just really going insane. It makes me want to start a kit project, a knit project, but I crochet. Oh, but nice, there's nothing to say you can't start knitting. I was a crocheter only first, and I would see patterns on Ravelry and on other websites and just be like, of course it's knit, of course. You know, and I'd be so disappointed. And then I sat down and I learned how to continental knit, and it was a slow process. It was not fast, and I really had to persevere a lot. And then I learned to knit. But I'm definitely a crocheter first, and I understand I don't know what the word is, the apprehension of taking on another craft. But the advantage is it's another craft that uses a lot of the stuff you already have. So, you know, I think it'll be cool. Christine Jones wants to know what I'm making. I'm making a blanket, Christine. So let me just move these pretty yarns out of the way. Let me finish this row, Christine. I'm just purling back this row, and then I'll be less stressed out. And then I'll put this down and I'll show you what I'm doing. It's actually probably a lot easier to visualize now that we're a bit further along too. So I'm doing a variation on a pattern called Four Corners Baby Blanket. Now it's calling for worsted weight yarn, and it's calling for like 150 stitches, whereas I'm doing 4-ply sock yarn and doing 60 stitches. Okay, so I might just pull that down just a little. So it's going to eventually come round, and they're going to sit like this. So I blocked that one yesterday, or sort of finger blocked it, and this one I did not block, as you can tell. So it's going to come round, and then I'm going to put the blue over in this corner, and then I'm probably going to edge it in some purple. So on the pattern for the actual blanket, they've got 4 massive blocks, because you just keep repeating what I'm doing over and over again. You get all these really cool sort of pearl ridge bumper rows, which I think look amazing, and just give it that bit of character. But I'm only going to have 2 for each one, which I also like. I have no problem. Like, it was just because I had 60 stitches instead of 150. My dog is losing her mind, and I'm just trying to work out why. Are you going to be putting all of your colors in your cozy memories? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Is like, I really wanted this. I had this skein of the limited, and I wanted to show what it looked like knitted, because it just was so gorgeous, and so I wanted to, you know, shout it from the rooftops. And then I found this pattern, and it inspired me to not just, I was just going to knit a little sample and just leave it at that. And now I want to make the thing. So what I'm doing is I'm picking up all my little leftover bits from different projects of all my 4-plies that I've hand dyed. So I won't get to use all the limited colors, because quite often I don't end up with any limited colors because they all sell. And then I'm going to make like these. So instead of making the whole blanket just 4 big squares, I'm going to make all these small 4 squares and then join all those together to make a bigger blanket. I love it. I can see how it inspired you. Thank you. I wonder how it would look if you did a provisional cast on for each block. I actually think that would be easier, because you knit this block by itself first, and then you knit this block by itself first. So you've got 2 loose blocks. Then you have to go around and pick up all the stitches, which does a struggle for me, because picking up stitches is not my favorite thing to do. So so hang on, just move this out of the way here, because I like it sitting proper. And I like how the corners meet up really nicely. The pattern's really well written and it's clear. But yeah, what happened is I started off with just wanting to do a sample in this. Loved it so much, I just reached over and grabbed the next ball that I had that would be big enough and did this one. And then that's it. I'm like, right, I want to just keep making these little squares, and I'm going to make them into a blanket. The back side is, let me just pick up that needle. It's not ugly, but see, I don't like reverse garter, and I don't like garter. So for me, I'm always a bit like, ugh, garter. And the actual joins are not too bad, like from where I picked up stitches, because that's a big downfall for me. Me and picking up stitches, not the greatest. So I'm thinking if you are comfortable doing a provisional cast on, it would probably be a much better idea. I can't go back and do that now because it would mean all my rows are a bit bigger. But that would be a really good idea if you're starting the project. Give it a try with a provisional cast on. I don't know a reverse stockinette. Sorry, Spanner Chick, you're right. I don't know why they didn't suggest it in the pattern. I mean, there may be a reason why they haven't done it, but if there's a reason, I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan of picking up anything, but ha ha ha. Yeah, me neither, Leanne. Knit Spin Girls loves squishy garter goodness. Well, then you could probably find like 11 million more miter square patterns. Because like when I started, like there were so many miter square patterns out there, but when I ruled it down to not garter, like I wanted a stockinette miter square, that really narrowed it down. But see, I really love this little line here with all like the increases and stuff on it. And I just think it's really pretty. I really love the detail in it. Anyway, I'd rather pick up stitches than sewing something together. I agree with you there. Probably just didn't think of it or didn't know how that could possibly be a thing. That could totally possibly be a thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, when we're going to put our edging on it, we're totally going to have to pick up stitches anyway. So I suppose getting comfortable with picking up stitches through here is not a bad thing, because when I do the outside sort of square, I'm trying to visualize where the square is. Failing. But yeah, so once we get like, we do a little square, I want to put like a little border around it in like another color. And then join them all together. I'm actually tossing up. What do you guys think? Do you think that I should, this is ready, do all the borders of all the little squares in the same color, or just keep going with like we've got these 4 colors plus toss in a 5th color that matches here, and then do another 5 colors for the next little box and go that way? Or do you think I should stick like a, I'm going to say grey because I always go with grey, either a grey or a natural around the edge of all of them, so that when they box together they at least look like they're being pulled into, I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Like, let me know in the chat. I'm going to keep going here with my next thing, where I'm up to. I did my pearls. I've done the pearls. I should mark off that I did the pearls. Come hither, little yarn bits. Oh, we're nearly out of pink. Okay. You know how much I love grey. See, that's the thing. I know how much I love grey as well. Lindsay says, oh, it's a tough choice. My initial answer is one border colour, but different ones sound really interesting too. I've never done one of those. Neither have I. This is my first mitered square. I think one colour would be cohesive. See, Lisa, I'm with you on that one. But then what colour do I choose? You know, it's a tough one. It's all tough. And then if I decide with grey, do I go a lighter grey or a darker? Anyway, it's too many choices for me right now. My brain's like, just knit the squares, Chantel. Just knit the squares. Nikki K, welcome to the chat. I like the cohesive tying in colour idea. Or maybe different greys around each colour group. I think a grey as a border sounds lovely and would pull it all in together. Diewench says lake. No, Diewench. I want to do a little mitered square in lake. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I can't talk for a second. Hang on a second. Maybe I can talk. My brain's trying to talk. Yeah, so those of you that have just joined the chat, I don't know why I can't talk while I'm doing decreases, but my brain just goes, yeah, no. Brown speckles, very funny. A neutral colour would make the squares pop. I agree with you, Nikki K. I think the neutrals would look amazing. And so what do you think? I'm tossing up. So I'm going to totally have to dye myself up a batch of colour now. I was just going to make this total scraps, and now I'm planning colour batches, which is hilarious. Would you go with a dark grey like Grizzle, or would you go with a lighter grey like Koala or Mist? Christine says, watching you makes me want to try a mitered square project. I've never even looked at them. Well, I highly recommend you at least looking at them. Christine, are you a knitter? There are crochet mitered squares as well, is a thing. So yeah, the dark one around the jewel colors and the lighter one around the pastels and brights, if you want to stop at 2. Yeah, I mean, or I could even just stick with 1, because like we know how nice the colors all work with the Grizzle. Like, you guys can't see it. Hang on a second. I'm going to change camera, single camera thumbs. So here, like, so we know that the Grizzle works with heaps of colors. Let me see if I can, there we go, pulling it all over. So that's the darker grey that I've got. Or I could go, I've actually got some Grizzle here in my little baggie. Hang on, I'm going to switch us back to the double camera. So there's some Grizzle there. Is that Grizzle? Yeah, that's Grizzle. Let me just flip this over. So we've got our Grizzle here. Yeah, I've lost my chat. Come back, chat. Or maybe the coffee latte and double shot if you want to go with browns. I'm not a fan of the browns. Dywinch has a very valid point. Because I used the Grizzle so much in the Charlotte stream, maybe I should go Koala, which is like the next step down in the grey. Dark colours are less likely to catch the eye, so they will highlight the colours better. Oh, I did not know that. So the Koala, do I have any Koala handy? I don't think I do. Koala is a really nice mid-grey. So it's just not quite as dark as this, but it's not like pale like the Mist. Anyway, we can always do some trialing when I get some squares ready, because I've got some yarn there. Odd But Nice says, Grizzle has proven itself, but I want to give Mist a try too. Where will you use the blanket? What colour room will it be in? God knows. My rooms are all very pale, and like I don't have any, we don't have any decor in our house. It's just you know, blue lino and beige walls. Hog's bristle quarter strength, if you really want to know. It's like a beigey colour. Very neutral. My house is very neutral. Yeah. I like Mist, but I think it would be too powerful. I agree with you. I don't think Mist would work. Alison says, oh wow, just set up Disney Plus, so much to watch. This is so much to watch. If Freaky is at darts, yeah, Rebecca. Where are we at here? I've still got, look at this, I'm like playing yarn chicken to the end of the row. I'm like, let me have enough to join at the end of a row. Although, do I really want to join at the end of a row when I have to pick up those edge stitches? So I think I'm going to try and get an extra stitch or 2 in from the other end. Go around. Oh, this is so tricky. I hate this when I'm running out of yarn. Oh, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Got to get that tongue in just the right position. Where am I up to? I've got to do some nitty stitches. So any grey will match your rooms. Absolutely. Every grey will match my rooms. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now I'm going to join in the other pink. Fingers crossed it's close enough. And then what I'm going to do is weave this in as I go. Get down, little thing. And I'll weave in the other end when I do the next row. I watched Sister Act yesterday too. When you guys left, I popped Sister Act on. I was just like, oh, I love this movie so freaking much. Alright, so look, that's pretty dang close, those pinks. So that's woven in there. What am I doing? I'm a repeater row for 4. So I've got to go to the 2 edges, 2 stitches. Come here, little endy bit. There we go. Alright, get out of the way, little endy bit. You're in my way now. And I've got to do a decrease. I don't like, oh, hang on. I don't got to do a decrease yet. I miscounted. I just need to knit that one. Now I've got to do a decrease. Slip, slip, knit, and then. Ha ha ha! I have succeeded. Why are you using such a long cable? Because it's the cable I had with no projects on it. Like, I could have totally gotten away with a 20 centimeter cable, but I didn't have one because everything's got a project on it. Oh, wait a second. I've got a 35. I could totally go and use a 35. I totally could. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to transfer my tips later on onto a 35. I see lots of crafting and watching in my future. Good job, Alison. Okay, now I've done that. Now I need to knit all the stitches because I'm making another purl ridge. So what I'm doing now is making this second purl ridge. So, because the purl ridges are cute. Like the occasional purl ridge, cute. Purl ridges all the time, annoying. Totally annoying. Rebecca Nelson says she still remembers watching Sister Act in the theatres for the first time. I don't know if I actually got to go to see it at the theatre. Did I? I don't remember when I first watched it. And Sister Act 2 was like one of the first movies where I enjoyed the sequel as much as the first movie. Because you don't have a shop full of cables. Jackie, I try not to steal the stock out of my shop, honestly. I do try to utilize what's in my craft area. Also, my shop was locked up and I didn't want to come out here and have to, you know, deal with it and, you know, humanate and things. And so, you know, stuff and things. So I'm going to bring that over here. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how I do this. Okay. I think I trashed that. I did. Look at that. Look, that's terrible. Whose dumb idea was that? Mine. I need to go back and get rid of it. Look, I accidentally got 2 yarn overs there because I'm made of dumb. So take it back and fix up your mistake. You numpty. I don't even know how I did it, honestly. Get off there. Take it back. Oh. Okay. Try again. Don't we all? Yes. There we go. Try again. Knit, 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 knit. All right, and I've got to tweak some edgings here to pull in. There's a loose little bit where I joined the yarn on. So they've got to get pulled in, and that's got to get... There we go. I mean, that's not ideal. I'm not 100% happy with that, but that's it. That's what I'm doing for today. I can always pull that back out later because I'm not trimming the ends today. So row 21 is done. Then I have to go back and repeat row 6 to 21 again. I don't know, I can't remember. I think I only get to do it like one more time before I get to the end of my stitches. It looks too fiddly. Sally, it's just because I was just trying, it probably would have been easier just to weave the ends in, honestly. And considering it's only for like a colour or two, most of the colours I had enough yarn in the initial balls. It's the way I join the colour, like do the colours in my rainbow socks, because you know otherwise you've got like 11 million ends. Row 2, yeah, 1 2 3 4, okay. Yeah, and I don't like ends, so slip, slip, knit, and slip, slip, and knit. There we go. Knit 2 together, and then knit to the end. That's where I magic knot them together. See, I'm not a fan of magic knot. I just can't get past the knot thing. I'm not to create weakness as in my brain. It's like it's been drummed into me not to create weakness. You're better off joining the yarn. But I've seen so much success with the magic knot. I've had a try with it. I've got it in a project that's going to go through the washing machine to see how it goes. But I just I haven't been able to do the magic knots. I can't bring myself to do it. So I need to start another. Here we go. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm just not a fan of knots in my projects. Where are we? Just hold them together for 5 stitches. Look, I'm not a fan of that either. I mean, like, yeah, the bulk's not that big, but it's just enough that it bugs me, especially as such a small project. So yeah, but again, it's just a personal thing. There's so many different ways to do joinings, and to like that we can all try what we're all comfortable with. Chintamani says she's just bought some stuff for me to bring tonight. Okay, Chintamani, I'll make sure I print it off and pop it in the car. Knit Spin Girl says I don't trust magic knots. I've had a couple fail me. So that's the thing. Like, I'd be terrified of that. Like, you go to all this effort, and just to save the energy of weaving in an end, you have a knot. And like, I don't know, I've just always heard that knots are a weakness. So I don't know. I would rather me be the weakest element of my projects rather than the yarn failing. If that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? I am going to weave this back in. It does bug me so much. I'm going to pull that out. I'm not happy with that. So I'll do a proper weaving with that one. Beep. Oh, where I've turned down the brightness of my screen and now I can't read anything. Are you trying to save your battery? Alison says she likes using the Russian join. Is that the one where you actually sew the different yarns together? Sally says so good, so far so good for her knots. Excellent. Spanish Chick says there's not long to go now. No, there's only a few more minutes, guys. I just want to thank you all for coming and hanging out and chin-wagging with me while we craft and talk crafty things and talk not always crafty things. I'm surprised my voice made it all the way to the end. I can feel it's very raspy, but I'm still talking. Rebecca Nelson says that it's raining where she is. I'm a bit jealous of that, Rebecca. Dywinch says, I had tried magic knots once but left such huge ends to weave in, so I didn't bother. Dywinch, you're supposed to cut the ends off like right up close to the knot. Oh, but Zebra Kitten says, I've been lucky with mine, but I actually weave in the ends from the knots as well. Okay. Good morning, Margaret. Is there still a lot of smoke around you? There's a fairly decent amount of smoke. It's a lot better than it was, like, in all fairness, but it's not fantastic. It's picked up in the last couple of days. So, which is why the Mystery Lace Club yarn is still not dry, which is really messing with my brain. I really wanted to get those posted out yesterday, and I've got this stack of boxes and sheets and the patterns printed out and everything's ready to go. I'm just waiting on the yarn. Kylie's in the chat, Chantel. I think you... Hey, Kylie, I did miss you coming in. Welcome to the chat. It's all Greek to me, but I'm still watching. Oh, well, there you go. We were talking Disney Plus earlier. All sorts of things, actually. So, and I'm just going to race to the end here, and we'll see how it's looking, because it's getting little. It's getting little. So we're making this little miter square blanket thing, and then we're going to edge them with a neutral, and then sew all them together, or maybe pick up the... No, I'm going to sew them together. I don't want to make more pickup stitches work for me. Oh, Kylie says she's been here the whole time. It just didn't have hands free to chat, because you're dying today, aren't you, Kylie? Sally says, I must say I have cut too close to the knots and that didn't secure when I pulled them tight. Yep. Oh, that's right. The sweet treats are ready too. So everyone who gets a Mystery Lace Club box always get like a little sweet treat that they can nibble on while they're looking through their box. It's a full experience. Everything's all wrapped and pretty so that you can have it. So we've actually, the cutoff to get a Christmas box was yesterday, but I'm pushing it to today. So yeah, so if anyone wants to get in for the Christmas Mystery Lace Club box, you have to order today. Do not delay. So yeah, so any new members who join up today will definitely get the Mystery Lace box for Christmas. Or I should say, if you're in Australia, you'll definitely get it in time for Christmas. If you're overseas, you'll get the Christmas box, but it'll probably come, you know, a bit later. Leanne says there's a total fire ban in, Leonie says there's a total fire ban in Victoria today. Sirens have just started. Yeah, you guys have got catastrophic fire warnings for big parts of Victoria. So it's pretty scary. Okay, my lovely friends, I'm going to go and I'm going to, I would love to say I'm going to keep going with this, but I'm actually going to pack some waters and then get ready to go to the dentist. I really would like to keep going with this. I want to get this color in today is my goal. So I'm going to take it with me. So in the waiting room in the dentist, things like that. So yeah, I will see you all around the traps next Thursday. Hopefully I'll be back to, you know, fighting fit, and I'll remember to do all the things beforehand. If you're waiting on your prize from previous weeks, I'm getting those out over the weekend, so they'll definitely be coming out. I haven't forgotten. I did forget, and then I've remembered, and then I forgot again, and they're coming. Is what I'm saying. But those of you going to Caffeinated Crafters, I'll see you tonight at IKEA at Logan. So have a fantastic night, have a fantastic weekend. Try something new. If you're a crocheter who's never knitted, check out I've got videos on how to continental knit, like from the perspective of a crocheter. So jump over and have a look, and you might end up with a new craft, a new skill. So I'll talk to you all later. Be good, be safe, and have a great weekend. Bye.